Top stories tonight in Y News. The provinces of Cagayan and Pampanga declare state of calamity due to the impact of Typhoon Egay and the effect of southwest monsoon, respectively. The Philippine government and the European Commission affirmed their commitment to strengthen enhanced cooperation in maritime security, climate change, trade, and green economy. Senators want to investigate the capsizing of a motor bangka in Binangonan, Rizal and determine the liability of government officials. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warns of war resurgence in Russia following yesterday's overnight drone attack in Moscow. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 31st of July, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news. The entire province of Cagayan has been placed under a state of calamity. Meanwhile, the boat carrying the Philippine Coast Guard personnel which went missing during the storm has been located. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
After the approval of the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council's recommendations by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, the entire province of Cagayan was placed under a state of calamity due to the impact of Typhoon Egay on Monday, July 31. Under the state of calamity, there will be a price freeze on prime commodities and the province's calamity fund of 52,546,800 pesos or 5% of the fund would be utilized.
Nakita nyo naman, 470 plus million ang aming damages on crops. This is just partial. And then, and of course, ganun din sa fishery. And we have a lot of homes partially destroyed and totally destroyed. 83 are totally destroyed and 1,500 plus is partially destroyed. So at daming perang kailangan dyan, pagkukumpuni na naman. And of course, yung livelihood in the next months to come. So these are already lost income ng mga crops natin.
Cagayan Governor Manuel Mamba has coordinated with the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE and the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD for Cash for Work programs. The Office of the President also provided 15 million pesos in assistance to the provincial government of Cagayan on Saturday, July 29 to aid those affected by Typhoon Egay, coinciding with the visit of the President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to the province. In addition, 6 local government units including Sanchez Mira, Apari, Santa Ana, Abulug, Kalayaan, and Santa Teresita received checks amounting to 3 million pesos each. The towns of Santa Teresita, Santa Ana, Abulug, Pamplona, Ballesteros, and Claveria continue to experience brownouts, while power has been restored to 4% to 96% in the remaining 16 towns. Meanwhile, extensive aerial and surface search and rescue operations are ongoing to find the 4 missing rescuers of the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG. The aluminum boat used by the rescuers was found in Barangay Fuga, Apari, Cagayan after it capsized in Cagayan River during Typhoon Egay. MV Eagle Ferry spotted the boat floating 7 miles from Calayan Island. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the provincial government of Pampanga has declared a state of calamity in the province due to the impact of the southwest monsoon, which was intensified by typhoons Egay and Falcon. According to the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office of Pampanga, 232 barangays in 15 municipalities are currently experiencing flooding. The floods have affected 144,340 families, equivalent to over 500,000 individuals or 512,722 people. As a result of the calamity, 6,057 individuals remain in 112 evacuation centers across the province. The estimated initial damage to agriculture has risen to over 315,254,225 pesos. Bulacan government seeks long-term solution to the perennial issue of flooding in the province. JP Nunez tells us why.
Due to the inclement weather brought by effects of the southwest monsoon, most areas in the province of Bulacan have been affected by massive flooding. According to the Bulacan government, 4 cities and 15 municipalities are now flooded. Governor Daniel Fernando said that this is the time the province should have a long-term solution to their perennial problem.
Napapanahon na po talaga na magkaroon po tayo ng flooding management master plan.
The Bulacan government seeks funding for various flood mitigation projects and a long-term flood management system which will include a 20-year dredging project.
Sa kasalukuyan po, sa oras na magkakasama po tayo ngayon, ay lubog po sa baha ang lalawigan ng Bulacan. Ang lalawigan po ng Bulacan ay binabaha. Alam po natin lahat yan, pero mas grabe po ang baha ngayon. Hindi po katulad nung baha dati.
On the technical working group meeting of the Committee on Public Works and Highways in Congress earlier today, July 31, congressmen presented their proposed House bills and resolution for a flood management system in Bulacan. Among these are House Bill 6559, which establishes a comprehensive and integrated flood prevention, control, defense, and management system for the province of Bulacan and appropriates funds for the project. There's also House Bill 492, which institutionalizes a 10-year master plan for flood management, increases penalties for violations of environmental laws, and appropriates funds for the project. Meanwhile, a House resolution seeks to prioritize and certify as urgent a more comprehensive solution to flooding in Bulacan, especially with regard to the upcoming opening of the Bulacan Airport. The technical working group will schedule another session next week. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Prices of local and imported rice is expected to increase. The government plans to import more of the commodity amid the threat of El Nino phenomenon. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Supply of rice in world market is getting tight after rice exporting countries like India and Vietnam restrict in trading the product outside their country. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. already announced the plan to import rice.
I'm thinking about the national supply for rice because ini-import lahat ng Indonesia, nagsara ang Vietnam, maghahanap na naman tayo ng bagong India, nagsara. Pero I think I can make a deal with India. Baka meron tayong mapakiusapan doon. Everybody's preparing for El Nino. Lahat ng Southeast Asia. Sabay-sabay ng bibilihan. Kaya ninenervyos ako, tataas na naman ang presyo kahit na mag-import tayo.
Rosendo Soof, di samaang industriya ng agrikultura projects that the price of rice in the country would increase by 2 to 4 pesos per kilogram.
Dahil konti ang ani, susunod yan sa international price. Pero kung marami ang ani na natin, makikita natin na magdidictate ng presyo is yung local price.
So noted that rice importation should only be limited to the demand.
Kung lalo magpapasok ang Pilipinas ng volume na import, maniwala ka, lalong sisipa yung presyo ng international price kung nagsabi ang Pilipinas na mag-import ako. So, lalong tataas yan.
The Federation of Free Farmers said though the rice importation is already liberalized with the rice tariffication law, importers are still weighing the government strategy. The question is how the government will do the importation since the mandate of the National Food Authority is limited to local procurement.
When the private sector finds out that the government will import and probably sell at a low price, lalong hindi mag-i-import yung private sector. Kasi ang mahal ng bili nila tapos kalaban nila gobyerno.
The Department of Agriculture said that it would boost the local production to reduce in countries' dependence to imported rice.
Doon sa bigas naman, pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas, kung yan epekto pa rin ng global ngayon na pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas, yun ang epekto nito at siguro hindi naman natin masisisi dyan yung pamahalaan dahil ito dahil nga di ba nag-umpisa tayo na mataas ang presyo ng inputs. So tumaas ang presyo ng inputs, nagpagalaw ng presyo, lalo na ngayon na tinamaan tayo ng bagyo.
DA said that the Interagency Task Force will convene tomorrow to discuss the supply and process of importation. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has issued a warning that war is returning to Russia after the overnight drone attack in Moscow on Sunday, while Ukraine and the United States are set to discuss security guarantees this week. Ruth Bahe will give us the details live. Yes, Ruth, good evening.
Yes, William, good evening. Russia has blamed Ukraine for the overnight drone attack in Moscow on Sunday, which resulted in 3 Ukrainian drones being down, with 2 crashing into offices in Vnukovo Airport being briefly shot. However, Ukraine has not taken responsibility for the recent attacks. Instead, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Ukraine is getting stronger and the war is gradually returning to Russia, and such attacks were inevitable in fair process of the war between the nations.
Сьогодні вже 522-й день, як триває так звана спеціальна воєнна операція, яку російське керівництво розраховувало на тиждень-два. Україна стає міцніше, поступово війна повертається на територію Росії, до її символічних центрів та військових баз, і це неминучий, природній та абсолютно справедливий процес.
William, according to Andriy Yermak, Ukraine's President Chief of Staff, Ukraine will commence discussions with the United States this week regarding security guarantees for Kyiv, while waiting for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO membership process to be finalized. Also, officials from various countries will gather in Saudi Arabia to discuss Zelensky's peace plan for Ukraine, which calls for the departure of all Russian troops from the country. The talks with the U.S. are a follow-up to the G7's commitment to provide such guarantees at their NATO summit in Lithuania earlier this month. Back to you, William.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, reporting live from Vietnam. We'll share more global stories with you later. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The Department of Justice, or DOJ, confirmed some witnesses against former Senator Laila de Lima are being transferred from the Bureau of Corrections to Occidental Mindoro Prison. Dante Amento tells us why.
Department of Justice or DOJ spokesperson Assistant Secretary Miko Clavano revealed that about 10 witnesses in the third illegal drug case of former Senator Laila de Lima were transferred to another penal colony at Sablayan Occidental Mindoro. But Clavano did not give any reason. He believes that it may be confidential. The DOJ assures the inmates are in good condition.
Inassure ko sila na yung mga asawa po nila ay nasa magandang kalagayan at siguro po ay hindi pa muna linalabas ang rason dahil confidential pa po.
Some kids or wives of the inmates went to the DOJ this afternoon because they have allegedly no idea over the whereabouts of their relatives. The Bureau of Corrections of Bucor allegedly did not reply to their queries.
Kaya lang naman kami pumunta ng DOJ kasi nga hindi po kami na-entertain sa Bucor. Hindi po nila nasagot yung mga tanong namin. So, Napapasalamat din kami sa DOJ kasi yun nga, sinagot po nila yung malaking tanong namin na kung nasaan.
The last time they saw the inmates was on Saturday night that include Tomas Doninia, Jaime Pacho, Pipino, among others.
Pagkakita ko po sa asawa ko sa gate 1, nakaposas na po sila. Isa-isa po sila. Nasa isang room lang po sila, sir, na nandun lang po sila. 10 po sila doon. Tapos pagkakita ko po, sir, palabas na po sila. Ang ginawa ko po, lumabas na rin po ako kasi wala na po yung asawa ko. Wala pong dala sila kahit ano po. Sarili lang po talaga nila.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, 2 senators want to investigate the capsizing of a motor bangka in Binangonan, Rizal and the liability of government officials. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
A Senate inquiry has been sought into the MBI Express tragedy that claimed 27 lives. Senator Grace Poe, who chairs the Senate Committee on Public Services, files a resolution seeking to investigate the incident and determine accountability. The senator says the tragedy revealed serious lapses in maritime safety compliance or regulations that need to be revisited. She also renewed her call to create a National Transport Safety Board that will conduct independent investigations over land, air, and sea accidents and will make recommendations to prevent such incidents from happening again. Senator Raffy Tulfo, who also filed a separate resolution calling for a Senate probe, also shares the same sentiment.
Ito mga taga-Philippine Coast Guard, may impluensya, sila nag-imbestiga. So, they don't investigate themselves, if you notice. Tuwing may lubog na barko, sabihin nila, we will investigate, we will file cases, appropriate charges against mayanang bangka, may-ari yung kapitan. Dapat sabihin nila, we will file appropriate charges against our people.
Tulfo also wants the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG inspector and supervisor assigned at the Pretil Port in Binangonan, Rizal to face charges and be jailed due to alleged negligence.
Pero kapag may makulong ngayon na taga-Philippine Coast Guard, and especially kung supervisor, dalawa, tandem sila makulong, pustahan tayo, papaputol ko isang daliri ko. Sige, gawin natin dalawa, left and right ng daliri ko. Mababawasan from 95% na mapaglulubog o baka 99% pa mababawasan.
Aside from the PCG, the senator wants the Maritime Industry Authority or Marina to be included in the Senate inquiry for its possible lapses and the issuance of permit to operate and inspection of the motorboat's seaworthiness. Tulfo hopes some of the rescued passengers will also be invited for their first-hand accounts to get to the bottom of the incident. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police received the document signed by the President on the courtesy resignation of the 18 senior officers. The said officers are among the 953 who submitted courtesy resignations after the appeal of the Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhur Abalos last January. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police implements the resignation of the 18 senior officers allegedly linked to illegal drugs, days after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. accepted the courtesy resignations. PNP Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. said they already received the document signed by the President.
We have implemented the order of the acceptance, so we issued the appropriate orders with regard to the acceptance.
Ano mo ang proseso next na po na mangyayari?
Well, with regards to the process, medyo nitty-gritty sa DP, I leave that to the DP muna.
Ano po ang status nila ngayon sa PNP, sir?
They are deemed resigned.
General Acorda refused to elaborate on the benefits of the 18 senior officers. The resignation of the 18 officers have no effect to the operation of the PNP.
Any vacuum that will be created because of this acceptance and implementation, they should be filled up immediately.
Does it affect the organization a lot, sir? Malaking impact dito, sir?
Hindi naman. Alam mo nyo, organization to so structural naman. When somebody is being relieved or resigned or retires, meron namang papalit palagi.
On July 25th, Presidential Communications Office or PCO said President Marcos had accepted the courtesy resignation of the 18 senior officers. It can be recalled that in January, Department of Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhur Abalos appealed to the PNP third-level officers to submit courtesy resignation amid the controversy of the involvement of some PNP officials on illegal drugs trade. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for other global news, West African bloc ECOWAS includes military actions if coup leaders do not reinstate president within a week. Myvin Carrizo tells us why.
West African bloc known as ECOWAS last Sunday, July 30, gives warning of 1 week for Niger coup leaders to release and reinstate the President Mohamed Bazoum, while supporters of Niger against France breaks in and attack the French embassy. Thousands of people who came as a crowd in Niamey, Niger's capital, threw fires at the embassy walls, burned down French flags, with 200 people being loaded to ambulances and at least 40 people dead. The rally sends clear message to the former colonial power to stay out of their business. In an emergency summit held last week, leaders of the Economic Community of West African States called for constitutional order to be restored and warned such measures may include the use of force if Niger's president is not released within the window, adding that defense officials would meet immediately to that effect. Borders with Niger will be closed, commercial flights banned, financial transactions halted, national assets and aid will be ended. Niger's prime minister under Bazoum's government, Ahmadou Mahamadou, said ECOWAS sanctions would be disastrous and catastrophic because the country relies financially on international partners. Myvin Carrizo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
At least 44 people have been killed in northeastern Pakistan after a suicide bomber set off explosives at a political convention organized by an Islamist party. More than 100 were injured and 17 are in critical condition after the blast targeted members of the Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam Fazil or Jewish party. The blast occurring close to the stage where senior party leaders were sitting. Most of the wounded were taken to the hospitals of Bajaur and surrounding areas, while those in critical condition were transported to the provincial capital of Peshawar by military helicopters. Initial investigations suggested the ISIS group could be behind the attack due to previous attack by the local branch targeting Jewish party's leaders after considering them as traitors. Pakistani officials strongly condemned the attack, with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif extending his condolences to the families of the victims. And Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari stating that terrorists and their accomplices need to be eliminated to establish peace in the country. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. Due to a price hike in highland vegetables at the La Trinidad trading, the price of vegetables at Balintawak market has significantly increased. According to vegetable vendors, some of their supplies in Baguio and Benguet are still submerged in flood, affecting the supply of vegetables. Sayote, which used to be 25 pesos per kilo, is now being sold at 40 pesos per kilogram. Cabbage, which used to be 60 pesos per kilo, is now priced at 100 to 120 pesos per kilo. Potatoes have been raised to 50 pesos per kilo. Romaine lettuce, previously priced at 100 pesos per kilo, is now sold at 300 pesos per kilo. Baguio beans have an additional cost of up to 80 pesos per kilo, while carrots have increased up to 90 pesos per kilogram. Even lowland vegetables like string beans, ampalaya, eggplant, and tomatoes have also experienced price increases. To address the situation, the Department of Agriculture has coordinated with cooperatives that bring vegetables to provide assistance to farmers. They are also prepared to provide seeds and other necessities to help farmers recover. Meanwhile, the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, has implemented a price freeze on basic necessities in areas under a state of calamity due to the damage caused by Typhoon Egay. Amid the suspension of classes due to Typhoon Egay and the southwest monsoon, the Department of Education will be implementing alternative delivery modes for education. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Department of Education, or DepEd, has announced that they will not allow online classes as an alternative mode of education amid the suspension of classes due to the effects of Typhoon Egay and the southwest monsoon.
Yung sinasabi nating no learning disruption, pag sinabi po nating we're suspending in-person classes, kasama po dyan yung suspension of online classes.
Instead, DepEd will be pursuing the use of alternative delivery modes, or ADMs, to continue with education. However, the agency also stated that they will consider the status of affected students and teachers while implementing these alternative methods.
Pag sila ay nababaha na sa bahay or sila ay nagiging biktima na ng bagyo, syempre po, we are not requiring them to really complete the alternative delivery modes or their modules, because syempre ang priority natin ay kapakanan at kaligtasan ng ating mga learners at ang ating mga teachers.
As per the latest report from the agency, 6 state schools are currently being used as evacuation centers, indicating the severity of the impact of the typhoon and monsoon. Moreover, there are 169 schools reported to have suffered damages, with a total estimated cost of 810 million pesos for reconstruction and rehabilitation efforts. DepEd mentioned that the opening of classes may possibly start at the last week of August, taking into account the current situation and the need to address the challenges caused by the recent calamities. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Amid the flooding in many parts of the country, the Department of Health has issued a reminder to the public to be cautious of leptospirosis. Gladys Tuabi details why.
Due to Typhoon Falcon, the country has been experiencing non-stop rains, leading to widespread flooding in many parts of the country, especially in Luzon. In response to this situation, the Department of Health, or DOH, has once again cautioned the public against the spread of leptospirosis. The agency emphasized the importance of proper waste disposal to maintain a clean environment, which helps prevent the breeding of rats, the primary carriers of the disease. The DOH advised the public to avoid wading through floodwaters if possible. However, if it cannot be avoided, wearing protective boots is recommended. Individuals with wounds on their feet are advised to refrain from wading in floodwater to prevent infection. Leptospirosis is a disease contracted from the urine of animals, most commonly found in rats. As of July 2023, the DOH has recorded 2,079 cases of leptospirosis in the country. Apart from leptospirosis, other waterborne diseases, influenza, and dengue are among the health concerns that affect the public during the rainy season. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And in other news, a senator wants to summon the heads of the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, over the persistent problem of flooding in several parts of the country. Senator Ramon Bong Revilla, chairperson of the Senate Committee on Public Works, says he is disappointed with the repeated flooding due to rainfall, despite billions of pesos being allocated 2 flood control projects. Revilla says he will call for DPWH Secretary Manuel Bunuan and MMDA Chairperson Romando Artes to answer the reason behind the persistent flooding through the years and to present effective solutions. Several areas in Metro Manila and other provinces in Luzon were flooded due to rains from enhanced southwest monsoon brought about by Super Typhoon Egay and severe tropical storm Falcon. The Philippine government and the European Commission affirmed their commitment to stronger bilateral relations as they both agreed on the expansion of trade and enhanced cooperation on climate change, maritime security, and green economy. Nel Maribohok reports.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the European Union, or EU, was ready to strengthen cooperation with the Philippines on maritime security. In the joint statement with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the European Commission chief said the EU stand on the arbitral ruling that invalidated China's massive claims in the South China Sea.
We are ready to strengthen the cooperation with the Philippines on maritime security in the region by sharing information, conducting threat assessment, and building the capacity of your National Coast Watch Center and your Coast Guard.
Meanwhile, President Marcos acknowledged the EU's support for the Bangsamoro peace process as well as the development of the Philippines in terms of the rule of law and justice, agriculture, space cooperation, and disaster management. The Philippine government and the EU are now working also to resume discussions on a bilateral free trade agreement or FTA.
Our teams will get to work right now on setting the right conditions so that we can get back to the negotiations. A free trade agreement has huge potential for both of us in terms of growth and in terms of jobs.
The Philippine government experts will work with the European Commission in achieving a bilateral FTA.
Talks on the trade deal began a decade ago, but formal negotiations only started in 2016. The Department of Trade and Industry earlier said that an FTA with the EU would secure additional duty-free market access for the Philippines on top of what is covered by the General Scheme of Preference Plus scheme, and that it would improve foreign investments from EU countries. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Office of Civil Defense Region 3 has reported that 178 barangays in Bulacan have been submerged in floodwater. This has resulted in almost 200,000 families being affected, which is equivalent to more than 500,000 individuals. Nestor Torres will tell us why.
During the entire afternoon, heavy rains accompanied by the high tide have caused significant flooding in the province of Bulacan. The destruction was brought about by the impact of the Super Typhoon Egay. Tomorrow morning, it is possible for water levels in Bulacan to continue to increase due to the high tide. According to the records from the Bulacan Provincial and Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, water levels are expected to rise by 4.3 meters due to the high tide. In places like Agunoy, the recent water levels that were above the waist in the barangays Palapat, San Isidro, Iba-Ibayo, and Carillo will experience water levels above the chest. Meanwhile, in Santo Niño and San Jose, water levels that are currently at chest level will increase and reach neck level or even above and head level soon. Similarly, flood levels will increase in Balagtas, Obando, Malolos, and Giginto. The flooding was caused huge inconveniences for the residents like Karen, who mentions that she and her spouse have not earned any income yet due to the flood.
Hindi kami makapaghanap buhay ng asawa ko dahil sa baha. Titinda lang ako ng mga kung ano-ano. Tapos yung asawa ko bumabiyahe lang. Katulad niya malaki ang tubig. Hindi kami makapaghanap buhay talaga. Kailangan ay pagkain po kasi wala na pong mga hanap buhay dito kasi sa sobrang lalim po ng tubig, hindi na po kami makapaghanap buhay.
Aside from the flooding, Bulacanos are also worried about access to food, drinking, water, clothing, and even fear for boats to avoid walking in the flood. In barangays of Iba or Este, many residents are using rafts and boats to navigate the flood waters. They pay 50 pesos per person for boat rides, while some generous boat operators provides free rides from those who have nothing to give as payment.
Lampas taon na po. Wala na po kami matulugan. Ito po, buti po, mayroon pong balsa na sa amin, naglibre. Kasi wala na rin po kami makain. Wala na po kami mabilan. Bulubog na po lahat, pati gamit namin. Damit, wala na po. Buti po, mayroon pong nagpapalibre ng balsa. Ito po, salamat po sa kanila.
Pinagtagpi-tagpi lang po namin mga goma, tas tali, tas alambre. Kasi po hirap po ng lakad, alam po namin hirap Gusto po namin makatulong din. Makagawa po ng mabuti sa kapwa namin.
Based on the records from the official of Civil Defense, around 1,078 barangays, 170,482 families, or 564,375 individuals have been affected by the super typhoon in Bulacan. Additionally, around 6,195 families are currently in evacuation centers in Central Luzon. Nestor Torres, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. graces the opening ceremonies of the 63rd Palarong Pambansa amid the monsoon rains in Marikina City. Rina Villamor Camara reports.
In line with promoting culture and sports, the 2023 Palarong Pambansa officially began here at the Marikina Sports Complex. Aside from the regular games, the athletes will also get to compete in dance sports, e-games, para-games, and the laro ng lahi or the indigenous sports such as kadang-kadang, tumbang preso, and patintero. Classes and LGU work have been cancelled here at Marikina City to give way to the parade and opening ceremonies of the 2023 Palarong Pambansa. The parade of athletes pushed through despite the heavy rain as the 17 regions walked with their costumes identifying them uniquely. A festive background filled the sports complex as it was filled with families and supporters of the athletes cheering for the regions as they enter the venue and looking excited with the comeback of the nationwide sporting event. Also part of the parade was Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro, Pasig Mayor Vico Soto, and San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora, who gave their opening notes.
Sana mag-enjoy po lahat. Good sports po lahat. God bless. Good luck sa ating mga manlalaro.
Bilang isang dating atleta, hinihimok ko ang bawat isa sa inyo. Magsumikap tayong mabuti. Alagaan natin ating katawan, disiplina sa pag-iisip.
Showing their support at the opening were famous sports celebrities such as Don Hontiveros and Eliza Valdez, who led the oath of sportsmanship.
Ay nanunumpang maglalaro ng may kababaang loob, susunod sa lahat ng alituntunin ng palaro.
There was also the presence of DepEd Secretary and Vice President Sara Duterte and President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., who gave his opening speech.
I assure you that this government remains steadfast in developing the prowess of our young athletes and in championing their well-being.
The lightning of a cauldron with the 17 representatives per region and PBA player Mark Baroka signified the start of the week-long festivities of the Games. This year's theme is Batang Malakas, Bansang Matatag, that emphasizes on the importance of sports among the young ones and sports in uniting the nation. In terms of sporting activities, the inclusion of Laro ng Lahi will provide a sense of understanding in the roots, customs, and values of our ancestors, as Mayor Marcy Teodoro emphasized. All 17 regions have been ordered under DepEd Memorandum No. 5 to select 10 members of their delegation to take part in this Laro ng Lahi. This is also the first time that Mobile Legends esports will take place in Palarong Pambansa. Meanwhile, separate activities such as para-athletics, para-swimming, bache, and goalball will be held for all athletes with disability under SPED classes. Some of the venues that will be used this year are Marikina Heights, Santa Elena, Concepcion 1, Concepcion 2, and outside the city are Rizal Memorial Stadium, Ateneo Football Field, San Andres Sports Complex, and Ninoy Aquino Stadium. Every game is open to those who want to watch, and schedules can be found on their official website at palarongpambansa.gov.ph. Rina Villamor Camara, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our Kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 34. It says, "O give thanks unto the Lord, for He is good, and His mercy endureth forever." And those are the reasons behind the news, July 31st, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold, and because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.